Have you ever been victimized by New Age spirituality?
We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
You're going to want to listen up.
I'm Megan, an intuitive life coach and Reiki master.
I'm Ryan, a professional astrologer, and we want to show you what spirituality is by talking about what it is not.
Con artist.
Yes.
Snake oil salesman.
There are so many susceptible people out there.
And then they're tainted. They're ruined. They don't want to come back to spirituality.
We still have a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves and learn, I think, every freaking day. This is Clairannoyance,
a podcast of spiritual interference. Welcome to October.
October. Cannot believe we're here already.
I cannot. Month 10 of this weird year. I mean, so your theme for this month, you picked a theme and it's at a crossroads. And immediately I just got Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I knew it. I knew it. When you said you had a song, I was like, it has to be Bone Thugs and Harmony.
You're at the crossroads, so you won't be lonely.
That song is tragic. Like, it's from someone they know passed away, and crossroads have, as we'll see here, there are these very big points of literal intersection, but they are also, like in many cultures, symbolic of like where the physical world and the spiritual world meet. They've often been used as like burial sites for the dead. It's where the dead come to meet the living as well. So I think that song is actually really apropos.
Didn't Britney Spears have like a movie and a song?
I think it was just the movie called Crossroads. The song was like, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. She was at the crossroads of her womanhood. Which I don't know if she ever got there.
Oh yeah, she's having a rough time. I gotta be honest.
I think she's still at the crossroads.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you're okay, boo. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. All right. So this is a pretty looking at my notes here that you just so kindly typed up. This is a pretty wild month. We are in the throes of Libra season. We will be entering Scorpio, which I fucking love Scorpio. I love Libras. I love Scorpios. But this looks, it looks like a party that you initially wanted to attend, and then you got there, and it was going well until it wasn't. And then it's not that it's not going well now, but you have to decide. It's like a pick your route. Are you going to have a terrible time? The fact that maybe your ex-boyfriend and his new boo showed up to this party, are you going to let that disrupt you? Or are you going to get out on the dance floor with your friends and shake it and have a nice time? Or are you going to cry in the bathroom? And there's really no right or wrong answer here. I sure hope you shake it. But this looks like a month of delightful fuckery.
It's a lot of fuckery. It was interesting because there's like a lot of transits happening. I mean, and it's like a fully mixed bag of transits, like
really
squares and oppositions and conjunctions and like all sorts of like good things and negative things, which I mean, I use those terms loosely because astrology is neutral, energy is neutral, good and bad doesn't exist. It's what you do with it. But, there's more challenging, I guess, aspects and some that are going to be easier to integrate. But there's, I think, some cool stuff just to dive into. Shall we kick it off with theme number 1?
Theme 1, Combusta. What is Combusta? Combusta is activated.
It's the Via Combusta.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a part of the zodiac that it spans from 15 degrees of Libra to 15 degrees of Scorpio. So it's halfway through the sign of Libra.
Wait, is this that? Remember when I sent you that TikTok? Because someone that I care about it was like, if these people have these transits, their lives will habitually be a mess. This is the name for it. It's like the highway to hell.
Oh yeah. Like the road to hell. Yeah. I mean, it literally it's like Latin for fiery road or burning way. You know, it's serious because like this is an ancient astrological idea that this part of the zodiac it kind of brings bad luck. I say that lightly because if you have, you know, your sun, your moon, your rising or anything between 15 of Libra and 15 of Scorpio, it's not like your life is just like
Shit.
torture. Yeah. It's
Pack it
not.
up. Come on back next lifetime. This one isn't for you. It's a life of hardships.
Yeah, big lessons and also like I mean resilience, right? Like it's that like walking on coals feeling or like
Mm.
how a diamond is formed under pressure, right? It really was viewed in ancient times as bad luck because this is where there were certain fixed stars. Um, and that like were malefic fixed stars. So it had a lot of correlations to some like evil energy. In modern astrology, we we don't really use this as much. But any planets that are placed there in your birth chart can be energies that tend to be more challenging to integrate, or that planet struggles to express itself fully.
This is so fascinating to me because now I'm thinking about everyone I know whose birthday is in this like transient time, and these people go through it, but they always come out like with gold.
Yeah, and we all deal with it. Like we're all dealing with it this month. Like why I'm even highlighting it is because the planets in real time, a good amount of them, important ones are moving through the Via Combusta this month. So it's a very active Via Combusta where we might just struggle to get our bearings, you know?
Great.
I know. I know.
Great, because we haven't had enough of an issue with this. We just got Mercury back. We just got Venus back. And now we got Busta Rhymes Via Combusta just out here woosawing. And if you know the song, you know it's not like a calm woosah. Woosah, woosah.
Okay. Okay.
This is what happens when there's an Adderall shortage in America. I am hyper caffeinated in song and food oriented. So what do
Mm-hmm.
we do with this Via Combusta?
Okay, well, it's funny because you said like the people here like seem to come out of it with gold, right? So like I think of it literally as like alchemy. Like it literally, if I were to just visualize the zodiac, this feels like the part of the zodiac that's literally just like on fire. So it's like this like cauldron. I'm trying to use like witchy terms too, since it's October, spooky season's here, Halloween, you know. It feels like this like fiery cauldron, right? But like in alchemy, like basically the point of it, like in ancient times, was how do we make gold? How do you turn something into gold? Right. So that to me is this process. Yeah. And it's this like, again, intersection of things, like multiple things coming together. It spans two signs. So there's this crossroads between Libra energy and Scorpio energy. So I like in general this idea of the Via Combusta actually feeling like a crossroads, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's even where like, you know, Libra's the sign of relationship and then Scorpio is where that relationship deepens. It gets very committed, like vows are made there.
In the Via Combusta.
Yeah. So it's almost like you're, oh yeah, you meet someone on your path, right? And you're walking, 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 and then you get to this crossroads of do we keep going? Do we part ways? Do we go opposite directions now? Like what are we doing? So relationally, there's that feeling at play, but it's that energy in this in general. Like Scorpio as well as that sign of death and rebirth, transformation. Like it's the alchemy, the like total change of form here. So it's so interesting to me. Like Via Combusta, it's like you go through the zodiac, get to 15 degrees of Libra, and you're going down your path. And it's so human instinct, right? To like want to be on a path, I think. Like to
Mm-hmm.
feel it feels good knowing where you're going. But then that feeling of being at a literal crossroads, you're like, oh, wait, which way now?
Where we're going, there are no roads.
There you just drop in that line again.
It's,
Um,
it's so
No,
fit.
there are too many roads. That's almost like the problem. Um, and so it faces you with this like tense feeling of uncertainty, I think, because
Mhm.
you're sure of your direction when you're walking on your path, and then you come to this point of intersection, and which can be opportunity and possibility, but it can also be temptation. Like, oh,
Oh,
like it can make you question your path, right?
yeah.
Um, and I do think like ultimately it's like, well, it's written in the stars, like you're gonna go where you're supposed to, but what do you do?
There's such a difference too between like October Scorpios and November Scorpios. Like to me, wildly different.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if there's a sign. I mean, like if you're a May Gemini to a June Gemini, a February, I think that there's always some difference there. But I think because I'm so close with so many Scorpios, because you people flock to me, um, there's such a difference. And now knowing about this, it makes so much sense because the November Scorpios, they're a little bit more moodier. There's a little bit more, not that the Octobers aren't, but the October ones just, I mean, through the ringer. But like I said, they always come out with gold.
Yeah, they're like trying to figure it out. Like they're not as equipped. The ones on the other side of it, though, have now walked through the fire, right? And so they're a little more like,
Jaded.
yeah, jaded, but also prepared, right? It's like and experienced, like in a certain way. But yeah, jaded is totally a word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in general, that's like one of the big themes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I think we'll kind of like riff more on this. Like there's just more I want to say about that feeling that we're going to be having literally all of October. So a big part also of this is that we have two eclipses taking place.
Oh, every 6 months,
Yeah.
there are two eclipses. And if you go to social media, everyone's going to tell you that it's gloom and doom, and you better buckle up, bucko.
And maybe you should. No. Okay, so we've got one on the 14th. October 14th, there's a new moon
Ooh.
eclipse in Libra at 21 degrees of Libra. And then on October 28th, we have a full moon eclipse at in Taurus. So both of these are also activating the Via Combusta. Because it's 15 degrees Libra to 15 degrees Scorpio. So we got a 21-degree Libra eclipse, and then we have a 5-degree Taurus eclipse. But that Taurus eclipse is a full moon, meaning the moon is at 5 degrees Taurus, but the sun is opposite that at 5 degrees Scorpio. We're in the Via Combusta at that point, like in the cauldron. So both of these eclipses are rooted in the Via Combusta and very focused on that crossroads feeling, which in general, anyway, eclipses bring fated turning points,
Change.
unexpected
Mhm.
pivots. Yeah. So I think that that's really fascinating and just doubles down on that energy.
I'm gonna be
The
honest.
new
This full moon lunar eclipse. I mean, like like in Scorpio, happening in Taurus, made my butthole pucker a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, like let's everyone relax. Okay,
it's
like
a strange energy. I think it's ultimately actually going to be I don't know. Like I think you're seeing a way out of the Via Combusta at this point, though, to be honest. For a couple reasons, because like this new moon in Libra, the first one on October 14th, that eclipse is new moons are times of new beginnings, opening up. The the nodes, the North Node and South Node,
mhm.
are the like eclipse points basically. When new and full moons happen very close to the nodes, that's what dictates an eclipse. And the nodes just switched into the Aries Libra axis on July 17th. So this is really kickstarting the next year and a half of eclipses in the Libra Aries axis. So there's a serious new beginning underway that's going to last for a year and a half here until like January of 2025. But then what's also weird is not only are eclipses in general this idea of like turning points and crossroads, but the full moon eclipse in Taurus on the 28th of October is like actually closing out the last year and a half cycle when the eclipses were in Scorpio and Taurus. So we're ending an eclipse cycle that overlaps with the new eclipse cycle too. So it's a weird intersection point of like, what have you learned in the last
Whoa.
year and a half and where are you going from here? So something new does kind of open up in the first part of October, where you're kind of getting a big idea of like that feels like that tornado feeling or like the hurricane episode we did, like where you're
Mhm.
just like swept up and like tossed out into a whole new direction.
I just kind of feel like that's been the whole gosh darn energy of 2023. Like,
Hmm.
like, do I have my pants on? Just let me, can I keep these?
Yeah. For sure. um and then I don't know, it's like even though you're going off on that new direction, there is something you're leaving behind because that full moon eclipse in Taurus is full moons are endings, closures, culminations. And so there is a serious chapter of your life that's also coming to a faded close as well. So it's like the path that you were on for the last year and a half is no more. It feels like people are taking a turn.
For my people who have like a new moon practice or like a full moon ritual, because I remember when you were here in May,
April.
April, and we were talking about or Nicole and Mary Dell had done a new, I think it was like eclipse season, but they had done a new moon. They were so excited about their new moon
Is
rituals that it was like, oh no, this is not this. You don't want to do that during this time. So is it is it advisable to write your intentions down and do what we talk about doing during a new moon, or do you just kind of want to skip that?
okay, so I think it's case by case.
Mm.
We launched our podcast on an eclipse. That's intention setting if I ever heard of it, you know? So I've seen like incredibly powerful things happen at eclipses when things get started or underway for sure. Or big decisions can be made, right? But in general, like I would say it feels like most modern astrologers and probably most ancient astrologers would say like eclipses are not really advantageous for that. You typically just want to like the sun and the moon are not acting right. They're not on their usual like path. Your focused intentions and energy may again just get like totally warped or swirled around. Like I'm not gonna say we lucked out that our podcast is doing well, but a little bit. Like I wouldn't have been shocked if we got quote unquote eclipsed and this podcast like something crazy had happened to it and we weren't continuing it or whatever. Like we took a little bit of a gamble, but it felt right. It did. I'm
Yeah, but
glad that
you're like, you went to, like, you would not have launched this with all your vast
no,
knowledge if you thought that this was that it was a dumper of a time to launch. There, you know,
no, totally.
and that's okay if something needs to season and marinate. Like
Yeah.
don't force things that need like it. And if you need an individual reading, hit Ryan up. Hey, do I need to do? Like sometimes you offer that one question deal. You might, but literally, people, if he does a one question deal, only ask one question. This is not a multi question series, but might be helpful for people because so many people hear something like this and they get their britches all, they get all upset. You know.
Hmm. Hmm. I actually just took a one question reading where like there's a specific way you have to do those readings. It's very different than looking at like your birth chart. And a very pivotal planet was at 16 degrees of Scorpio, just free from the Via Combusta. So it was a great sign. And I actually brought that into the reading and was like, you've like gone through this big transformation or something like recently. And now you're like, you are prepared. You are ready to go. Like the worst is behind you. And she actually wrote me this amazing note, uh, giving me feedback on how like accurate that was. So I definitely think those readings can be very helpful during times like this. And I think like that's like probably more like people call it spiritual hygiene. Like eclipse seasons, they tend to last longer than like a typical new moon, full moon energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's good spiritual hygiene to just kind of like back off of the manifestation practices a bit. Like let life do its thing, let the energies swirl around as they may. Like it is a good time to get a reading. Like you're supposed to be more receptive during this time, I think. Like see what comes in, see what goes out. I do think it's very worth like with the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, it's like, follow your intuition and instincts. Like that's North Node in Aries energy. Like, but then South Node in Libra is kind of like, we might lose people or connections. But then if that's happening, it's like because we're growing individually and naturally our paths are, parting.
Taking us
And
apart. Yeah.
yeah, and we'll meet new people on the next like leg of our journey here. So the like be I would say if new people are trying to knock at your door, you want to answer the door. So like take those types of actions. I think opportunities coming in right now, you want to pursue those. They're not happening for no reason. Like these are fated beginnings and endings in October, like very, very much so. But I think it's a great idea to like get readings or seek advice, like learn.
Council.
Yeah, it's a perfect time to do that. I mean, anytime
Mhm.
is, but at a time where you're not really like technically advised to like do too much like witchy manifestation, like intention setting, blah blah blah. Or if you're wanting to, get a freaking reading. Like let's make sure it looks okay in your chart.
Yeah.
I don't like with eclipses to over predict like the energies because it's by nature unpredictable. So I don't care to be like, oh, like yeah, new moon in Libra is like a new step, new journey in relationship of some sort. So be aware of that. But then the full moon in Taurus can be a closing out of something going on in your physical world. It could be a health issue coming to an end. It could be a debt finally being paid off, like in a good way, right? But it can also be like the loss of an income stream or something. So there's many ways this can shape out. And again, it's really going to depend on your chart and where these signs are sitting in your chart.
The whole thing. Don't freak out, though. That's the whole thing. Don't freak out. Relax. You're gonna be okay. You made it through all the days, all the times. Like if
Yeah.
you see something scary on TikTok or Instagram or the Facebook or whatever, get out of there. Stop doom scrolling. Take a deep breath, drink water. And if you have any questions, book a reading with a one question reading with Ryan.
Or a full reading, a chart reading.
That's
Um
true.
uh okay, my third theme is just the planets that are changing signs so we can like move through these. Mercury is hauling ass, literally. It's like it's finally left, retrograde and its post retrograde shadow in Virgo. October 4th, it enters Libra. And it's only going to be there for a short period of time until October 22nd.
It's like I was in retrograde for long. I've got places to be, things to do, move out my way.
Yes. And so, and Mercury in Libra is really interesting because Libra is the sign of the diplomat. So Mercury is communication. And so like our thoughts and ability to like be persuasive and find the middle ground with other people or like wheel and deal is kind of how this feels for me, especially because Mercury is moving so fast.
Mhm.
You kind of want to find the balance for two different people or, any deal you might be trying to strike in October or October 4th through the 22nd. It's like, I don't know. It's like seek fairness. That's so Libra.
What's interesting too is October 4th is when, the emergency broadcast is supposed to go off and, reprogram it or whatever the conspiracy theorists believe. So that's just can't make that up. Can't make that up. Just coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but it is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll definitely
So
see like I guess like debates like the two sides of the coin there because Libra is the scales, it's balancing two different things. So we'll probably see on October 4th like the crowd that's like whatever, like it's not a big deal, and then the crowd that's like I'm wrapping myself in tinfoil and like not letting these frequencies hit me. Like we'll probably see a very divisive narrative on October 4th for sure.
makes sense. And then we have
Yeah.
Venus entering Virgo, which
Yep.
you know what? I've talked to you about this before. I just attract these Virgo Capricorn Venuses. And my Aries Venus is like it's all about proud. How can I practically show you my love? You know what you can do? You could climb on top of a mountain and you could sing and scream to the world. That's what you could do. I don't want your number 2 pencil. I'm just kidding. Thank you. I'm sure all the Virgo Venuses in my life offer me such grounding, but
Virgo Venuses are really interesting. Like, but it's basically like the sign Venus likes to be in the least, because the sign it likes the most is the opposite sign, Pisces. It doesn't rule Pisces, but it just has the best time there. So it has kind of like the worst time in Virgo. So
I can totally see that.
Amazing. Enjoy this. So like it's not in the Via Combusta, but it's like while this Via Combusta is being activated by a bunch of other things, where Venus is like, well, let me just like slip and fall too while we're all at it.
You've already been slipping and falling way too much this year, Venus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez, retrograde and Leo.
Yeah.
Now this. No, get back up, girl. Like,
I know.
Brush your shoulder off. Like, let's go.
Yeah. It's Venus and Virgo is like incredibly picky of other people often.
Mm-hmm.
That's it just like it does see real flaws in other people, but it can approach those issues in without decorum. So it's like it's with so much Libra energy taking place here, it's such a relational time for people in so many ways, all types of relationships. So it's kind of like that brute force of Aries that we're trying to like embrace and move into can make us a little too self-focused and then very judgmental of other people. And you want to soften the blow if you have something negative to say. Like say you're a manager who oversees like a team of people. If you're trying to like improve their work or something, right, and like critique something they're working on that you've assigned to them, you soften the blow by saying, okay, I really appreciate that you're doing this, this, and this. Let's think about how we can change this part of it or something, right? So
Yeah.
you do want to improve other people, but it's like,
Hey, sport, you're doing a great job, but you're also really fucking up over here. So if you could get your shit together, I would
yeah, it's
sincerely
rude.
appreciate it.
Rude. So Venus is in Virgo October 8th until November 8th.
And they take it like when you're like, hey, soften that delivery, Virgo Venus. It's always like, what? Like, I'm just trying to help. They almost get offended. No, I'm sorry. You called me a toad. You don't get to be offended. That you call like you could you could have called me an aquatic being, like, but a toad. No, that'd be a frog. But anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Sure.
The other oh god, I think like what's good about this is that Venus is, when it enters Virgo, it's done with this whole long Venus and Leo transit we've been dealing with the Venus retrograde and then the Venus retrograde post shadow period and all that crap. So ideally people have come out of the Venus retrograde moving into October 8th feeling like they know their worth again, like there's a revival of the self and like how much you love yourself, but also like the people that you do love in your life as well, I think, right? And I will like Venus in Virgo, if you're going to use the high expression, it's self mastery and like it can be masterful relationship building, but also just like
makes sense.
Yeah, but in the vein of like you can't control anybody else, don't manipulate anybody else, and the universe is literally like swirling around who right now anyway. If we're focusing on the self, Venus can be incredibly productive with that self work. It's like I view it as the gym rat, literally, like not, or Mars and Virgo, I view that way too. But Venus is like it's like, wait, I know my worth. I value myself this much now after coming out of Leo. And so now it's like, I'm getting that gym membership. I'm going to freaking sculpt myself. I'm going to, I view Virgo like clay. It's mutable, changeable earth energy. So I view it like people are really like trying to finesse their actual physical self, taking better care of their health in many ways. That's
Makes
something
sense.
that you're going to want to hit up Megan for.
Yeah. I can help you sculpt yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And then uh we have like a cascade of planets then that are just going to enter Scorpio. So I'll just like kind of run through these.
Ooh.
Mars is going to enter Scorpio October 12th, where it stays until November 24th. Mercury enters Scorpio October 22nd, and then right after that, the Sun enters Scorpio October 23rd.
Ooh.
So there's like this big
Heavy
burst of
Scorpio.
yeah, especially in that second half of the month. There, it's cool. Like with Mars entering Scorpio, Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, the traditional ruler in modern times. Like Pluto has been assigned to Scorpio too. So Scorpio has two rulers, but I prefer the original rulerships.
The
So
OG.
yeah, I like Mars and Scorpio, but very different energy than how we normally think of Mars. Like Mars rules Aries as well. Um, so Mars and Aries is much more of like that active warrior, athlete, very strong and brave and courageous. And not to say that Mars and Scorpio isn't, but it's like I view Mars and Aries as like the front lines, and Mars and Scorpio as like the back line, tactical strategy, stealthy vibe, you know?
Yes, not checkers.
Hell yeah. Perfect way to put it.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. So I love Mars and Scorpio energy, to be honest.
Don't you try and F with me because I know.
Mhm. It's also a super passionate and sexy energy as well, Mars and Scorpio.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, so there can be a lot. I mean, and like you want to be careful with it again because like you can try to manipulate. Mars is our motivation and like how we're moving ourselves. So like in Scorpio, Scorpio rolls that stuff under the surface, the subliminals. Like you're not super. There's like an ulterior motive with Scorpio always. So Mars is
Yeah,
like,
there is.
yeah, there is. We both know.
Yes.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Scorpios will get you.
They will, yes, that stinger, you know. Which also, you know, something that I find funny. Let's talk about this crossroads thing here, okay? Because these
Mhm.
planets are moving through that Via Combusta here. All of these. Um, you know, Hecate, the like goddess, but like that like witches love to like pray to and
But you need to know you got to respect her before you start trying to deal with her. Like
yeah,
you need to do your due diligence before you start working.
you
That
must.
oh, that person that tried to use her against another person that we know and I'm not trying to spill
Yeah,
back that
no,
tea.
I know. Yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Edit
I
out.
know, I know. Yeah, yeah. Like we've literally seen somebody like call on Hecate and like it backfired like crazy. Um, so in general, like I'm not somebody who works with like deities like this. Like that's a kind of just not where I'm at in life. But it's interesting because Hecate, uh, was and also I think a big reason why people don't want to work with her is because the stories with her that exist, like the myths, are pretty sinister, but there's also not a lot that does exist. She's very enigmatic. So like I think that's also why you don't want to be like working with Hecate because it's like you don't know what you're getting yourself into. It's very hard. But she was known as the goddess of the crossroads. And right, weird, she would be like invoked at crossroads. People would like leave offerings for her at a crossroads, and ask her to like protect them. But then also there's this myth where she literally turns into a scorpion, and she's credited with like basically like the invention of scorpions. So go figure, Scorpio season, we're moving into that, and
Damn.
that's in this Via Combusta, which is a crossroads, which Hecate is the goddess of the crossroads. Like it just all ties together for me. Like I feel like this theme is so stupid perfect for
Yeah.
this energy. But then this, right? But it's like that when you're going through this and you're diving deep into something here, Scorpio rules the occult and taboo things that we don't like to talk about or we're embarrassed of. And like, so
Mhm.
we're really looking at some of these like touchier subjects that can actually be like very triggery or just like almost even like enchanting. Like Scorpio rules mystery, and there's that like
I'm seeing like my guy Scorpio friends really and I don't know if it's a gender thing or what, but they're getting cracked like walnuts right now. Like they are, it's like if you've been hiding from yourself, which is like the traditional American dude, it's like not today, boo. You are in that fire. I mean, to the point that like people I haven't talked to in a while are reaching out and like, tell me what's going on. Like,
Yeah, watch your Scorpio friends or people with heavy Scorpio energy in general, especially in that second half of October, especially around that October 28th eclipse. Like that's a seriously significant ending that they're facing head on.
that would be like, so serious Scorpio energy would be a moon placement, a rising placement, obviously a sun sign. Or if
Mm-hmm.
you had like
A
Venus.
stellium, which is
Ooh.
multiple planets.
Yeah, I know one person who has a lot of Scorpio. Like I think she's a triple Scorpio, and the intensity that comes out, like it's hard for people to take her seriously because she talks sometimes like she's not in this realm, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
bring it on back, sister. Like
Yeah.
like she's an old soul trying to find love in this world, and it's brutal. It's like, and she's the
Yeah.
sweetest, but you have so much. I mean, because Scorpio can be that you don't lie to a Scorpio, and that is a jealous sign. Okay, that
Yes.
is a vindictive, jealous sign. If they are unbalanced, they will find you, they will hunt you, and they might not have short-term patience, but a lot like myself, long-term patience. But they outdo me in this manner because I have zero short-term patience, but I will play the long game. And it's like they got elephant's memory, and they do not forgive, and they do not forget.
They rule grudges for sure, and they're so paranoid because but they can operate in this stuff like they rule truth and trust, but they also
Oh,
are so connected to lies, so they know how to do
yeah,
both.
because they also rule the genitals, and so the genitals are always on fire, metaphorically.
Very sacral energy. Yeah,
Yes.
especially once Mars is in here, like people are doing like it's another like very primal energy, just like Aries, because it's got that Mars influence.
So get clear on y'all's boundaries on
Hmm.
what you're willing to do. You think something it's a good time to get clear on your sexual boundaries as we go into with this sort of energy. So like if you start like, am I down for a threesome? Do I want to attend the orgy party that is that is happening in my local neighborhood that I didn't think existed, and I only heard rumors, but now I know what pineapples mean, and I see an upside down pineapple, and I know the secret. Not get clear on your boundaries, and if you're open to experimentation, great, but do your research, because
Yeah.
otherwise you will get taken to a land. I mean, everyone I know has been a score. It's like it's left this profound effect where you don't know what to do.
It's magnetic. They rule that kind of concept, magnetism. Like they will draw you in and then clutch. And it's very hard. And it's funny because they can also ice you out, and so they have this vibe of like making you think you're cut off, but there's they are a fixed sign, very difficult to change. They're incredibly loyal, like so freaking
That's
loyal.
the thing. This is why I love them so much. You penetrate that auric field, and like I said, I got long term patience, just like you Scorpios. So I will, and you can call them, and they are the ones where it's like I've got to bury a body, and they're like, I've already the bleach is in the car.
Mhm.
Like I love you. You're my best friend, and it's like we haven't talked in years. Like it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, and here I'm gonna swoop in and save the day. But then you're not gonna hear from me for a few weeks, maybe months, maybe years. But just know I love you. And you're like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah, like, and even if they give you that vibe, if a connection has been established, even if there's that they've seemingly cut it off, they haven't. That connection is kind of like always going to be there. So, it doesn't mean that it needs to be revisited, or like tampered with or whatever, but
Oh yeah,
like,
because these can also be like I'm talking about balanced. Well, there's no such thing as a balanced Scorpio, but like people who have done some sort of work, anything. Because you get the
no,
people
yeah.
who haven't. Oh Lord,
Well,
that's
and
crazy.
it's like even if you are in that like gotta bury the body situation and that Scorpio is seemingly iced you out, again, I'm gonna guarantee you they're gonna like pick up your phone call or whatever. Like they're never really going to be done if the connection has been established, which is a freaking honor if you've been able to puncture that Scorpio boundary. They have boundaries, like their defense is up. Like again, like Aries is much more of that like offense, right? Like it's so much more like active. Scorpio is like got the defense, I got the shield. Nobody's here. I always talk about Scorpio like it's a hot tub where it's like you can't, it's got the walls up, and that is hot water. It's a water sign, but it is hot water. You ease yourself into that, and only so many people can fit in that hot tub. So
It's a great metaphor.
it's so
Truly.
good, right? Or like a
Yeah.
geyser, because it's like if you push them
Hot
enough,
spring.
then that hot spring is gonna like explode too.
Yeah.
You do not jump into or get like flippantly near one of those. Like you don't fuck around with that. Your face will get burned off in this Via Combusta.
I'm gonna like clip this part and send it to every Scorpio I know.
Yeah, dude. They're gonna be like, fuck yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I remember one time I said that I was giving a reading to a Scorpio that we just developed a friendship, and he was like, "You really think you know me, huh?" And I'm like, "I'm just reading. You asked me to read your like you're petting me like this. I don't get an attitude with me. I mean, you can, sir, but like you're." This is a business. This is a energy exchange. You think you know me, huh? I'm like, oh, well, like I just get stubborn because these people they're just the best. They're so misunderstood, just like Geminis.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As a
True.
Gemini. As
Yeah,
a Gemini, I
true.
appreciate that.
It's true.
Uh Scorpio rolls the top of my chart too, so go figure that they're always top of mind for me. Um so and the planet is changing signs. We've got 5 of them. 5. So that's a big deal also because for the last couple months, aside from the sun changing signs and moving into like a new season, we really have not been dealing with planets changing signs. So now it's like there's change happening. There is like you have been on this path, but again, okay, this point of change and like is a big deal. And Scorpio literally rules regeneration, transformation, death, rebirth. And it's like I feel like when you hit that crossroads moment, or like when you make it through that Via Combusta, or like a fork in the road feeling, even like it carries this weight of like there is no going back. Like once this choice is made, that choice is made, and the other paths get sealed off or something. So it does feel like a really big time of like relying on a lot of your senses. Like you're relying on your communicative abilities of looking at, like, I feel like it's like you're approaching an intersection and you see somebody walking from another path. Ask them where they've been, what was down that road. Do I go there? Talk. That Mercury and Libra especially is going to give you that ability to like freely communicate and exchange advice with other people. And then once Mercury enters Scorpio, October 22nd, your intuition or psychic sensibilities are just going to be on. But yeah, I think like that Scorpio energy is going to be like so profound for a lot of people to tap into like extra senses, you know, and just you'll be feeling it like just so deeply. It's so under the surface again, right?
Spidey.
Yeah. The final theme that I have here it's not so much of a crossroads feeling, but kinda. And it'll be October 10th. Pluto's gonna turn direct in Capricorn. It's not so much, this is more of the like no going back energy, even though technically Pluto will go back here.
Yeah, it's like it's playing peekaboo. It's going back and forth with Aquarius. It's like
Yeah.
y'all didn't call me a planet. Now look at what I'm doing to you.
Yeah. It's a big deal though. Like it won't be back here. It spent the last 15 years in Capricorn. Once it turns direct on October 10th, it moves forward, and then it enters Aquarius in January, where it spends pretty much the next 20 years. Aside from at the end of next year, there's gonna be like a couple months where it very briefly dips back into Capricorn, but it's like barely.
Well, peekaboo.
Barely, yeah. So I don't even know that we're gonna feel that. Maybe it could be symbolic, but Pluto is so, again, like subterranean that I don't know that people are going to notice it, but maybe, I don't know. It's symbolic that it kind of like almost has this like final little test or something, you know? But Pluto's also generational, and Capricorn and Aquarius have so much to do with big collectives. Capricorn being like institutions, governments, like things that we rely on as a people, in a society. But then Aquarius is we the people. I think like that's what we're looking at now is this transformation and redistribution of power. Pluto is power. So we're basically like, you know, everybody keeps talking about late stage capitalism. That's the final degrees of Capricorn. Pluto is the planet of destruction, but also creation. So it is destroying a lot of what we know right now. Like we've been talking about this in so many ways, so many major institutions are just changing, right? Education was one of them that we've been talking about with teachers. Like everybody's noticing all these major institutions just
Rumbling.
completely transforming. Yeah. So that doesn't give me like so much of a crossroads energy as a this is happening no matter what energy. And we got to like it's more of like there's a big boulder on your path behind you and you got to keep moving. Like you can't stop at that crossroads very long, you know, like and like
Yeah,
assess
you're gonna get run over.
long. Yeah, exactly. That's how it feels. So like, and there's no holding on to the old.
You're gonna be the coyote or you're gonna be the road runner, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yes. So just thinking about that, like I don't think again that this is like a super conscious thing.
The further the planet is away, it rules more the collective instead of the individual, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's like the cohort you were brought into. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like Pluto and Capricorn is Gen Alpha, right? Which we're just starting to kind of get to know. They're the oldest will be like 15 years old, basically. So once Pluto's done with this and moving into Aquarius, that'll be generation beta, which I'm very excited about. For the next 20 years, they'll start being born. But we're basically ending the births of the Pluto and Capricorn babies. Gen Alpha is here. You know, it's really interesting.
That's so cool.
It is. It is. So those are really like the big astrological energies that I really wanted to, I guess, focus on. But more than anything, I just liked this idea of like that feeling of a crossroads. And like personally, I feel like so many people have been talking about liminal spaces lately in general, of like which are the same thing as being at a crossroads. Like it's essentially the same thing. I'm seeing it a lot, at least because like I'm so fascinated by the concept of the back rooms. Do you know what the back rooms are?
No, what are you talking about?
Oh, God. The back rooms, like, please go in this rabbit hole. Like, if you guys, especially if you're into like freakier things that might scare you a little bit, it's not like scary in a normal like horror movie way, but the back rooms are this kind of like idea of like reality glitching, and then you fall into the back rooms, which is like office spaces that look like almost like labyrinths, or there are these things called pool house, or like the pool rooms, where it's like these big like facilities that just have pools and water slides, and they're these kind of dream-like states that it's like
They're real life. This is real life.
no, the back rooms are like this
Have
like
me at water slides.
but what's fascinating about them is they are what's called liminal spaces, which are like in between spaces where it's not reality, but it's like what's weird is it is so familiar.
The theta brainwave state.
Sure.
I got a boner already. I want to go.
I do too, actually. Like I like kind of like salivate over them. But the funny thing is like why the back rooms have become so popular, and they're actually making it like this like child. It was like a 15-year-old kid who actually started creating. It's this lore, basically, like what do they call it? Like, oh shoot. I forget what they call it on whatever. But this kid like took this. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have things like just deciding to tumble out of nowhere over here on my desk. The back rooms, like my universe is glitching over here. Yeah, I'm about to like fall.
Take a step in. Move your bookshelf. There's gonna be a wild door. Would you go in? If you all of a sudden your bookshelf, just
yeah,
oh yeah.
Well, it's not even like that. It's sort of like something happens. They call it clipping, like you clip into the back rooms. Anyway, like the back rooms are so fascinating because everybody like, and this kid put visuals to it. Like it started as this thing, like not on Reddit, creepypasta. That's what it is. Like where there's these weird internet lores. Like it started as like a creepypasta, and people started describing this idea of the back rooms. And then this kid put visuals to it on YouTube. I forget what his name is. And but he's like young, and now he's like 17 maybe, and he's been like contracted by like a major movie studio to create an actual backrooms movie, which is crazy. I can't fathom how that would go. But you look at these rooms, like there's all these levels, and it's like you never know when you're gonna like kind of clip into a different level. But when you look at them, and why it resonates so much for people is because everybody has this feeling of like, I've seen this. I've been here.
Deja
I
vu.
know this place. It's weird how much
Do we need to
these are
have like a
like
code word in case we get stuck somewhere? And if I don't know the
in a
code
back
word
room.
in a back room,
You
and
can't, you can't, you have to find your own way out. That's the thing. You can't just like contact me if you clip into the back rooms.
I know, I think I could.
No, you
I'd
can't.
I'd be yelling in my mind, fire!
Well, and okay. Uh,
If you hear me yelling in your mind, you need to come find.
yeah, it'd be one of those like echoey things. Like, well, but I'd have to find a way to like clip into the back rooms. I can't
Yeah,
just
but
like
you're
go find
brilliant. So
you.
like that's why I'm asking you to come find me in case I go missing because you would be able to do it of all the people. Okay. Hello.
Um, so it's scary for the most part because you're like in this like familiar but unfamiliar space, which is this idea of also the crossroads, because the crossroads are a liminal space where it's like it's not an actual destination, it's a meeting point of other paths where it's like it's not here, it's not there, it's just in between. So they call it like the, what do they call the word, what, like in betwixt or betwixt, right? um where it's like the I think the scariness of the backrooms is this uncertainty of like not knowing where you're going, not knowing what's around the corner. And then there really are in some of these like levels, depending on like
This is a scary movie.
they're making it a movie, but they, like if you just like go on YouTube and search the backrooms, you'll find a ton of creators who are creating content of the backrooms. There's some that are better than others. Like my favorite, dead serious, he actually is making like a whole series. Like I am obsessed. It's Lost in the Hyperverse, I think is his name, and he has made these incredibly realistic, like 30-minute to 1 hour long like episodes of different levels where this you're following this character. It feels like you're the character going through these different backrooms levels. It's nuts. But and so some of them are like there's some that are peaceful actually, but like still kind of eerie. But then some are scary. But then some have what are called entities, where it's like a monster.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
And they're weird. They're like weird
No,
monsters.
no,
Well, I know. And so I guess my point of bringing this up too is that like that this is correlates so well to a lot of the like cultural myths and folklores of a crossroads where literal like deities watch over crossroads, just like Hecate. There's so many of them actually that are called upon, or you leave an offering at a crossroads somehow. But then like even in like Romanian folklore, vampires preyed on travelers at a crossroads. And I feel like it's that feeling of like you are more susceptible to evil or to damage or to something like that when your guard is down.
I'm gonna have to ask my Romanian about this because
Go for it.
Julia, yeah,
She
she
doesbut she's a bad Romanian. I
a
don't know.
good Romanian.
I just do my research. Um but it's interesting. Like I think that there's that idea of like when you get, you're so sure of yourself on a path, right? But then you get to a
Uh-huh.
crossroads and it all of a sudden you're not so sure. And I feel like in those moments of uncertainty is when you become the prey. Like there's a predator and you might be prey. So it's like,
That
are you looking over your shoulders? Are you like careful? Are you like
all the time. Yeah, my mama Julie didn't raise no fool. I don't think so. You always got to be hyper vigilant. I'm always like shocked at how people like cavalier people are with their safety, and it just takes one time for you to date a psycho, and then to be like, oh yeah, who was the silly one now?
yeah. Well, or like, it's so much of literally what we talk about. Where it's like people come to us in vulnerable spaces when
Mhm.
they don't know where they're going, and so they're susceptible, right, to whatever influence might be
Yeah,
coming up on their path. And so like if they find people like us, thank God we're like the angel at the crossroads. But but
yeah.
like
No, we
there
are.
are it's how people fall into cults, like this is literally like they're in these weird
So I mean,
spaces.
it's so easy because you want like You want that sense of community. One day I would like to like start a commune or something cool, but it's gonna be a ethical land. But yeah, right now too, people are super susceptible because people are there's we've talked about it all summer. This wrestling, I need more. I want more connection. I literally made I haven't uploaded it yet, but I was like, I want to be, you know how hyper alpha and independent I am. I'm like, I need more love. And if everyone who loves me needs to do that, I've literally, and I'm gonna upload it. Tell me you love me, and if you're not okay telling me, if you're not verbally expressed, then you can grab my hand and do 3 squeezes or my shoulder, 3 squeezes. And then that will be your way. I think we should start a trend. That's how you're going to tell people that you love them. Not hand, 1, 2, 3, or a shoulder, 1, 2, 3. And I think we should start this top secret trend because I want to be swaddled like a newborn baby and held. Which is not Megan energy.
No, it is not Megan energy. Megan's susceptible right now.
if you were to swaddle me like a little baby and put me in your neck, you know, and feed me snacks. Oh, how nice.
You can't have snacks.
I know.
Yeah.
My photo shoot is until October 16th. Oh my God. Is it going to be in the Via Combusta?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hot fire fucking photos, son. Meow, meow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Play with fire. Play with that idea. Stand in a crossroads, dude. Find a good little intersection, you know?
With fire. Brilliant.
Yeah. Another thing, if you want to explore this idea of a crossroads more, seriously, is one of the most popular American folklores is the blues musician Robert Johnson. He was like in the 20s and 30s, I think is when maybe it was 30s. He was a big deal, but he's like credited as actually like being like the first real like American rock star, but also he really made blues like had a fundamental impact on blues. But he's got this song called Crossroad Blues, number one, but also he's a fascinating story. There's a Netflix documentary about his folklore, basically, where he apparently like sucked a guitar and then kind of disappeared for 2 years. And when he came back, he was like a virtuoso and people were like, what the fuck? And there's this whole story about how he literally met the devil at a crossroads and sold his soul. And the devil.
Do you think this is where the Illuminati got its like the basis, where it was like, oh, Robert Johnson started it?
I don't
You know what I'm saying?
So I feel like the Illuminati is way older. It actually, I know it is way older. It started
Really?
it started close to when America was founded. Go figure. It's a whole history there.
I know, like crossbones and
yeah.
I want a Mason to show me secret handshakes so bad. Just give it to me. They won't. No one will. They take it so serious.
Yeah. So anyway, that story is really cool. And if you look at that documentary, it's really interesting and dives into the crossroads kind of folklore in general, but also his story is just really fascinating. It's probably like the most well-known. And I think it just speaks to that again, like idea of like, yeah, you can meet the devil or the wrong person at those crossroads. You got to be very careful about who you choose to follow or whatever. He also died when he was 27. So it's sort of like he started the
part of the 27 club.
Kind of began that myth as well.
Oh my
God. There's a lot with him. And like people don't know, like people are very like, I've never
heard of him.
Yeah.
Until this exact moment.
Yeah, there's like an interesting camp of people who like basically like white people who found his music, or people believe this, that like white people found his music, and that's really when this like idea of the devil at the crossroads story emerged.
White people.
I don't think I don't know, maybe he consciously played off of it if he literally did sell his soul to the devil, but I don't know, it's just really interesting, and I think in general that good parallel of like,
I better watch it.
Yeah,
y'all better watch it is what we're saying.
Yeah, especially again, I think with Scorpio rules debts. So it's like what are the debts we have with each other? Like not just like literal actual debts, but
Be
like,
careful with your word. We do. I mean, think about witches talk about you speak spells, you speak your world into existence. Your words have power. Your words are 10 times more powerful than thoughts. So watch your mouth during this time, especially if there's an extra potency in the air. Words are 10 times more powerful normally. A negative spoken word is 4 times more powerful than a positive spoken word, which means negative words are 40 times more powerful than a positive thought. And then you have this extra alchemy or this extra zhuzh. So y'all better watch your mouth. I
yes.
make $10,000 a day ethically, and it's deposited into my bank account, and I help lots of people with it.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. You don't be like, this is like no black magic here, please. Be be
Yeah.
the good witch.
Yeah.
Um,
Calling Glenda.
yeah. Um, so this is like basically what I have. I mean, like really, there's so much to the Crossroads thing. I won't even get into it, but it isn't. It was also a burial site. People who committed suicide used to get buried there. Executions would happen at Crossroads, even on Halloween. Um,
Don't fuck around with that.
it's like All Hallows Eve kind of
Mm-hmm.
began with the idea that ghosts came
The
back,
thinnest.
to real
Yeah,
life.
it's
The
the
veil is
thinnest.
thinnest
Yeah.
but it's at a crossroads, specifically where these ghosts emerge. So it's weird how embedded this idea of crossroads is in our.
I'll tell you, one time I ate mushrooms and it was Halloween, and there was a situation going on in my life at that time, and my grandmother, who I've never met, came in clear as fucking day and was just like, it's gonna be okay, to the point that I was like, I'm well versed in drugs. Like, so this was for something for this. I knew my dosages. Like mushrooms are, they're lovely little creatures, but I was like, oh my. And then as soon as I tried to like hold on to it, that's humans, it was gone. But I was like, Grandma June, what?
Yeah, yeah. Oh. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe other people are going to be connecting with their ancestors during this time too. Who knows? Truly, I don't know.
Just be careful. Maybe get yourself a black tourmaline, a carnelian, and
Yeah,
don't be dumb. That's the biggest thing. Don't be dumb.
yeah, and I think most people listening to this are like tapped into this stuff too. But like, there are going to be plenty of people who don't like follow astrology or any of this spiritual stuff. And in general, I think it's just like break it down to that idea of like, what are you in between right now? There's a serious threshold being approached and intersecting paths and people in that space of like ambiguity and trying to figure out like, where do I go from here? And that's a moral choice in many cases. Like,
Ooh.
what do I do? So like, how
And your
strong are
head and
your
your heart and your
morals?
intuition are all going to be fighting, but you know what you need
Yeah.
to do, and you know what's right. And so don't let your head or your heart keep you in a spot that you don't need to be no more.
Yeah, I feel like down one path, it's like you got that like candy trail, like Hansel and Gretel style, which leads you to the witch's house or something. But down the other path, it might be like windy and scary and steep and whatever. But that might be the actual thing you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to
The
use your
universe favors the
judgment.
brave. Closing out, want to give a shout out to Martha, who reached out and said that she wanted an episode on Reiki. Martha, we will be doing an episode on Reiki. So if you guys have any requests for us, send them on over. Give us 5
Please do.
stars. Do the
Please
darn
do.
thing. That was our first request. We were very excited. So thank you, Martha.
Yes. And also I know, like people please request more. Like I think it's so fun. I feel like people just feel like maybe they can't or wouldn't have any energy.
We are very open people. If you want us to talk about something, then let us know. So Martha, Reiki will be coming up for you, boo.
Yes. And then let me also shout out, because I jokingly put on our Instagram today that we're going to offer a shout out to the next podcast episode, which is this one.
I haven't checked. I saw that and I laughed so
oh my
hard.
God, it's so funny. To whoever leaves the best comment on this post, making it all about them, even though this post has nothing to do about you specifically, since we talked about What About Me in the last episode. And our good friend Erica has commented and said all sorts of crazy things. So I was like, damn, she went on one. So I like loved that.
She's sweet.
Yeah, she is. So she really took that to heart. Thank you, Erica.
We appreciate you going hard hard at
Yeah,
the
we
thing.
love the engagement. Proud of you for claiming the energy.
She understood the assignment.
Yeah, and that's it. I keep saying too, I'm gonna make a calendar. I think the last 2 months I kept forgetting to make a calendar of like the challenging days, neutral days, and
That's very helpful. But you know what, Ryan, I joke that I'm just the talent here because I literally just show up and record. So Ryan is the one who edits, runs our Instagram, puts the
and
graphics.
actually,
Occasionally I will read, I'll like see a message and I'll heart it. But thank you for all your hard work because it would not be going down and it would not be as successful as it is if it wasn't for you and your hard work. So I know I obviously appreciate it, and our listeners and viewers do as well.
thank you, and you're just as appreciated as I am by myself and the listeners as well. Honestly, like this, I wouldn't be doing this if you weren't with me. And also now that I think about it, maybe I won't make that calendar because I feel like the whole thing would be like challenging day, challenging day, challenging day, challenging day. It's just a calendar on fire.
maybe do like these are good days. Like we'll do the positive.
No,
like
I'm sure I can
you have
figure it out.
1.5 good days in October.
No, there are good days. There are good days. Like Mercury and the Sun are going to be conjunct. Like we're going to have a Mercury Cazimi, which is really beautiful. There's good days for sure. So I'll make the calendar.
I like that word because it sounds like kazoo, and I really like the word kazoo.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh,
In Kazakhstan, it reminds me of that.
Oh, what's that? There's that joke. No, I've been butchering jokes all week. Like I've been telling the punchline first and then been like,
Oh,
the worst.
dang. I'm so sorry. You know the joke? I don't know if I told you this because it's the only joke I ever think to say. But here's a joke, and
What?
hopefully I haven't told you this already. What did the 0 say to the 8?
I love this one, an all-time
Damn it.
classic. But you haven't
Wait,
told it
really?
to me. Yes, it's so good.
I've never met anybody who knows that. I don't think that's a classic. I think you're
Oh, well,
special. Or we've talked about this or something because nobody ever knows it. But yes, it's so funny. The 0 said to the 8, nice belt, or I like your belt.
it was like God saw a chicken, or no, God saw a duck and said, give that chicken a kazoo. See, I already screwed it up, but you know what I'm saying. If you can deconstruct that joke and make it a joke again and tell it to people, go for it. But I have clearly failed with the mission. That's why I've got to stick to like one-liners. If there's any sort of like any more than 2 sentences, I get too excited, and then I'm the joke.
I know. I prefer like off the cuff, organic jokes. This is why I can't really do stand-up comedy very much because I'm like, oh, what a canned joke. That's also why I loved our good friend Karen Rontowski, who I believe if you're going to be in Chicago around Halloween, she's doing a show. Karen Rontowski was on our Ghosts, Fairies, and Demons episode. She's got her podcast, Paranormal Karen, but her stand-up comedy is amazing because she does like tarot readings and fuses it with comedy, so it's super organic. You never know what you're going to get with her. Love it. Okay. That now that we've plugged everyone we know, can we fucking end this and get out of here?
Okay. Yes, we can.
We love you all. Good luck in the fiery throes of the cauldron.
Good luck with
October.
the Via Combusta. Just play Busta. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Send us pics of your sexy Halloween outfits too.
I'm gonna slut it the fuck up, son.
Oh my God, maybe I should. I haven't thought of anything.
Yes, God, everyone. Release.
I need to think. I'll think about it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.